What up everyone, it is your boy, Fallout, and as promised, today we are going over the recent Season of Dawn subclass changes made to Warlocks. I know, we're already like a full week into Season of Dawn, even more so, and I'm kinda late on this, but please understand these videos are time-consuming AF to produce, especially since YouTube ain't my full-time gig. Maybe you can change that though by clicking the subscribe button and pledging your undying loyalty to me and me alone. Just kidding about that last part. Maybe. Anyway, there's a lot of changes to go over. But before we get going, today's video is sponsored by NordVPN. They've given me permission to put on this very special play just for you.
Hey guys, let's all sign on Destiny 2 and play some PvP together.
Yeah, man,
Okay,
that sounds
sure.
awesome.
Let's
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
I'm dead inside.
Oh, here's our first game of comp. I can't wait to do this all day and grind out our new ritual weapon. Wait, what's happening? Can anyone hear me? Guys? No! I've been DDoSed by the other team. My internet connection wasn't secure, and now I've been booted offline. All my teammates are gonna know that I have Cheeks level security, and they're not gonna want to play with me anymore.
Don't let this happen to you. And hook yourself up with NordVPN, which was selected as the best VPN in Best VPN Awards for 2019 by one of the most trusted experts, VPN Mentor. With over 5,500 super fast servers in over 60 countries as well as 24/7 customer support, NordVPN is the friggin' god roll of cybersecurity. They've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you really don't have anything to lose. Don't be the only gamer left in America who isn't hooked up with a VPN in 2020. If you want to get started, go to nordvpn.com/falloutplays and save 81%. Or use code falloutplays and get 2 gifts, 4 extra months with the 3-year plan and the NordPass password manager app for free. Thanks again to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. And back to the content. Warlocks. The changes to the Warlock class were actually kinda more interesting than I originally thought they would be. And that's outside of the changes made to Top Tree Dawnblade. Not all of the changes were great though. Let's start by collectively pouring one out and giving a quick F in the chat to the brutal murder of our dearest friend Burst's Glide. If you are a non-Warlock player, aka a heathen, let me explain. Burst Glide was the absolute tits to Dawnblade in PvP. Burst Glide is the jump that used to let Dawnblade supers explode across the map at Mach speed, but no longer. Season of Dawn gave out speeding tickets, and Dawnblades are slow as F now. You want to be really sad? I actually even tried outrunning a friend of mine in a private match, and wow, did that go poorly. I literally got outran in my super, so even though Burst Glide is still a great jump option for Warlocks, overall, you really gotta time your super well if you're playing Dawnblade, especially bottom tree, because you are slow as hell now. I should mention though, if you feel like you gotta go fast at all times in your super, and you still like playing Dawnblade, go for Strafe Glide. In the neutral game, Strafe Glide is, in my opinion, awful, but at the very least, you can still whoosh around in your super at absolute Mach speed. Just a little food for thought. Taking a look back at the top tree, the Attunement of the Sky, a lot of fun changes going on here. Let's go through them one at a time, starting with Celestial Fire, which is the new top tree Dawnblade melee ability. I gotta tell you boys, I'm impressed with how easy this ability is to use. You hit the melee button and chuck out 3 flaming balls, which all home in on nearby enemies. The homing is strong, let me tell you. Even if you aim remotely near an enemy, it'll likely home in and do max damage. Actually, even if you're close and you throw the balls directly at the floor near the enemy, you still do max damage. Very impressive. The melee doesn't do a ton of damage. Each ball does about 35 damage for 105 damage overall, but that's a lot of guaranteed damage for a super homing melee ability. Go ahead and keep that in mind for PvP. Next, we have Winged Sun, which you may remember allows you to kinda engage in combat with enemies while you're in the air. Now you're able to use Celestial Fire, aka your hot new melee ability, without breaking your glide, which is kinda cool. Unfortunately, it no longer gives you grenade energy for kills you get in the air, but you do get more melee energy for aerial kills. How much, you wonder? Kind of a butt ton. Obviously, exact numbers are likely going to depend on your strength stat, but a good rule of thumb seems to be that you essentially get back half of your melee energy instantly on an aerial kill with Winged Sun. The only potential problem is that getting kills in the air isn't really reliable. As many of us know, aerial accuracy in Destiny 2, by design, is straight up but. However, that's a perfect segue into Heat Rises, also on the top tree, which has been redesigned with Season of Dawn. Here's the change. You hold down the grenade button and essentially consume your own grenade, nom nom. When you do that, you activate Heat Rises, which actually has a pretty generous timer. In the duration the perk is active, you get a couple of benefits, primarily of which is a greatly reduced penalty to in-air accuracy, and I mean big time. After doing a little testing on this, I can say with confidence that Heat Rises gives you essentially the same amount of accuracy you would get while standing on the ground with 2 feet. There's pretty much no in-air accuracy penalty anymore with that perk. Take a look right here. Jumping normally, see how my gun's crosshair expands now that I'm in the air? You activate Heat Rises and bam, that is a super tight crosshair. And for the record, that's just for hipfire, ADSing your weapon. I felt like all my bullets were going exactly where I wanted them to go. Not bad. In addition to more accurate pew-pews, Heat Rises improves your Warlock jump. How? Well, first of all, it lets you float way longer. If you float in place, you can essentially chill in the air for about 10 seconds before you gently float back down. If we're talking distance, you can go way further than you can normally with Burst Glide. But Heat Rises also takes 2 of the more popular Dawnblade jumps, Burst Glide and Strafe Glide, and essentially combines the best of both worlds. Allow me to explain visually. With Burst Glide, shown here, you get a really hardcore initial burst of speed, which is great, but the downside is that after that initial burst, you don't have a lot of in-air maneuverability. See here how I burst off hard to the left, but when trying to strafe back to the right in the air, it doesn't really work? Now, check out Strafe Glide, where there's a weak initial burst, but afterwards, in-air strafing is easy. You see right here how I burst left kinda weakly to begin with, but then have a lot of potential to drift back hard to the right? Well, Heat Rises takes these 2 jumps and combines them, shown here. I can burst hard right out of the gate, just like Burst Glide off to the left, but then have crazy in-air maneuverability like Strafe Glide, all for a handy 10-second duration. Nice. Next up, we got changes made to Icarus Dash, aka the mid-air Warlock Scoot. Now you have the ability to throw out 2 dodges back to back, or not, with a 5-second cooldown. If you just toss out 1 Icarus Dash, you'll know your dash timer, so to say, is completely reset because you'll get a nifty little flash animation that washes over your HUD kinda quickly. I like the double Icarus Dash, but something annoying is that if you do 2 in a row, the momentum on the second dash is much weaker compared to the first. Probably something to do with in-air momentum in general, but worth pointing out. With your Dawnblade super active, Icarus Dash simply performs 1 long dodge, which has a 1-second cooldown. This is a much better option for getting around the map in your super than the heavily nerfed Burst Glide. Unfortunately though, only available to top tree Warlocks, so sorry bottom tree. Speaking of bottom tree though, let's quickly check out the changes there, which ain't much. Aside from the nerf to Burst Glide, F's in the chat, which we already went over, rip Warlocks, the only change made was to Phoenix Dive. This one's actually kinda interesting. So in the past, Phoenix Dive when activated gave you a little immediate chunk of health, but now you get a small little flowing stream of health instead. A little bit of a stream charge instead of a chunk. Also, and here is the interesting part, when using Phoenix Dive in your super, you regenerate super energy depending on how much damage you're healing. This can be... yeah, if you do this correctly, you can get a lot of extra super energy. When I first tested it, I started panicking because I thought this was going to lead to literally unlimited super. But before you have a panic attack, take note that this has diminishing returns based on how long your super has been active for. In short, if you Phoenix Dive off damage at the beginning of your super, you get a bunch of energy back. If you're Phoenix Diving towards the middle or the end of your super, very little extra super energy back. The ideal strategy with that in PvP is probably going to be do damage right away, and if you get damage, heal off with Phoenix Dive towards the beginning of your super, but the more you get towards the end of your super, don't bother. Moving on, let's talk about Middle Tree Solar Warlock, the Attunement of Grace. Probably going to get glanced over a bunch because it's not as sexy as Top Tree, but actually we got some good changes going on here. Starting with Guiding Flame, the melee ability. You know how this works. You hit someone with a melee gameplay, and then you and allies near you get an empowering buff. The range of the buff from you to your allies was improved from 12 meters to 24 meters. I don't know if you're a bunch of math experts out there, but that's a lot of range. Right now, Guiding Flame has mostly historically been used as a great perk in PvE, but I'm kind of wondering if this will be able to do well in PvP. Having allies within 24 meters of you in PvP ain't that difficult, and a bonus to damage would probably be really welcomed in the Crucible. More on that maybe in another video. We also have Divine Protection, which increases the radius that the healing grenade is applied to friendly targets, which goes from 1 meter to 3.5 meters now. Doesn't really seem like a big number, but look how far away you can be standing from the heal nade to still get the benefit. Actually kinda impressive, gonna make healing allies much easier if you're into that sort of thing. Next up, we got Benevolent Dawn, which improves your ability cooldown timers more for every time that you actively heal or empower an ally. In Season of Dawn, the buff can be refreshed if additional allies are healed or empowered, and the perk can continuously proc. With this perk proccing way more often, it's actually going to come into play much more for both PvE and PvP. Lastly, we come to Well of Radiance, which, as we all know, gives a hot damage buff while you're standing in it. Now, in addition to that damage buff, you get a 20% incoming damage reduction, and I gotta say, this is noticeable. I had a friend shooting me repeatedly with a spare rations hand cannon in the face, and it really took him a while to put me down. Keep in mind, I wasn't firing back. Same thing with the Claws of the Wolf pulse rifle. It took him an entire clip in the head with me not strafing or firing back, and he finally killed me. Now, I know Well of Radiance is primarily a PvE thing, but to be honest, I'm really tempted to try to make this work in PvP. Do not sleep on the well. Oh, and remember how shooting the sword can break a well? If you didn't know that, shooting the sword can break a well. You can still do that, but it takes a lot longer now because it no longer takes crit damage, thank God. It took about 20 bullets with a spare rations to break, for the record. The last Warlock change overall was made to Voidwalker's Handheld Supernova, an ability I happen to know that all of the player base completely loves without exception. It just adjusted the grenade charge time so it lines up with the animation, because previously it could look like your Handheld Supernova was fully charged and ready to throw, but in reality it wasn't. The animation was off by a few frames, and now it's fixed. Exciting change, right? Anyway, that's it for our good friends, the Warlocks. If you missed the videos I made on the Titan and the Hunter changes, you can find them on my channel. They're floating around somewhere. I will now leave you with some random-ass PvP footage and clips of me running Warlock in Crucible. I hope this gives you both a little entertainment and also an idea of how some of the previously mentioned Warlock changes look in action. Please consider subscribing if you found this video helpful. It means a lot to me, and thank you so much for 200,000 subs. That is just incredible. Appreciate all of you very much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Get out of there right quick. Oh, Billy. Oh, there it is. 2. Booyah. Yeah, Drewski sends his regards.
So much glory, so little time.
Let's see, can I get a... Oh, there we go. Not forgotten, but always remembered. Gonna roll up on you. Boom! Oh, I just got a... Oh, not you! Oh! Oh!
Captured.
Alrighty, wait for it. Up. The patient man. Oh! Zig out of there. Man, I love being able to just do that at any time I want. Oh, yeah. 2 for... Oh, here we go. Oh, you know what? I'm going from the air. Yes. Hello? No! Who put... Was that sign always there? I can't remember that sign being there. That don't matter. Power team shouting, baby. Need a little ammo, PLZ? Let's go the other way. Oh, hello. Boop. I think I might like this gun even better than the Chaperone. Boop. Oh, so satisfying. I mean, hard to compare to the Chaperone. The Chaperone is super good, but I like being able to use it with the Crimson, you know? Oh, come here, buddy. Oh, yeah. Love the pink Titan. Great choice. Dude, lighten them up today, boys. Now, don't kick me out of the party. I want to be back in there. I want to be back in the party. And I'm here. Oh, I see you. Rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat. Oh, no, trouble. Oh, dude, don't let me do that to you. Here we go. Melee. Push him away. Boom. And, oh, Blueberry.
C captured.
Come on, have a little faith, buddy. You know what? I think it's time. Time to feed the beast. Come on, boys. All of you right here. Orbs. Get the orbs. Right here. Gang up. Oh, no. Back up. Back up. Oh, let's go. Team shotting, gentlemen. Oh, God. No. Oh.
What can stop you if you fight
Oh, I've never been more confident in my will.
I feel so safe.